Welcome back to Know and Grow and Monday Minutes. I hope you're starting off your week with God. And we're talking about Solomon. I want to read 1 Kings 11:11 to you. Therefore the Lord said to Solomon, and this is from the English Standard Version, and that's another very good translation. Since this has been your practice, and you have not kept my covenant and my statutes that I commanded you, I will surely tear my kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. Now, Solomon had a son, Rehoboam. He had many sons, and we'll talk about all his wives and concubines at some point. But he had one son named Rehoboam who became his successor. Rehoboam became the king, and he was the king of the southern kingdom, Judah. And Judah was Judah and Benjamin and the Levites as well. And then there was Jeroboam, who was the king of the northern kingdom. So we see that there was going to be a division in the kingdom. And Rehoboam is going to be installed as the king following Solomon. But Jeroboam is the other person on this whole scene, because remember, the kingdom was going to be divided, and there was going to be two kings. And at this point, Rehoboam had become king, and Jeroboam comes to him. And we are reading from 1 Kings chapter 12, where Jeroboam and his delegation, who came to Rehoboam, king of Israel, and said, okay, listen to this. This is important, because this is what we're going to key in on today. He said, your father, Rehoboam's father was Solomon, remember, your father made our yoke heavy. Now therefore lighten the burdensome service of your father and his heavy yoke which was on us, and we will serve you. Now, we won't go into everything about what happened next in today's lesson, but what happened was Solomon, this great king that we put on a pedestal, we think is so great, what does the scripture just say? That he had put a heavy burden on the Israelites. And God had said that's what was going to happen. If they wanted a king, you'll find out. You'll come under a king, and they will rule you. You won't be free. And that is what Solomon did. He ruled rather heavy-handed. He had heavy taxes. He laid heavy burdens on them. And so again, back to not putting people on a pedestal, thinking Solomon was so perfect. He was not the greatest king in that particular sense. I mean, great in all his wisdom, great in all his wealth, great in all his buildings, but he had laid a heavy burden on the people. He was not perfect. He wasn't all we think he really was. And that's all for today. Just again, don't put people on a pedestal. Here they had a king. Here he ruled kind of heavy-handed. And they had people going to his son, Rehoboam, saying, hey, we'll serve you, but won't you lighten the load? Solomon, your dad, put way too many heavy burdens on us. Won't you lighten our load? And we'll find out what happens with that. But that's all for today. Solomon was not perfect. I love you. You take care. Bye-bye.